All right. Mic check, mic check. I'm on the Masters Podcast, host, of course. Another episode of Thinking Out Loud. I always forget the number. I don't know why I forget the number, but I always forget the number I'm doing. But I'll put it when I do the upload. But I want to first say thank you to all the supporters, all the listeners, all the people that share the podcast, that comment on my YouTube, that email me, verbally tell me face to face in person. It means a lot every time somebody tell me they watched the episode, or whether you give me a long drawn out paragraph or a short one. Any word, 0 to 60 to 80, whatever, how many words you give me, it always means a lot, because you always want to feel like you're doing something, you got some kind of purpose. And I feel like the audience I have, y'all definitely let me know that I have a purpose in doing this, and that y'all appreciate the time I put in to everything I'm doing. And y'all have grace with me too, and I don't put out content like I probably should, which is weekly, twice a week maybe. But I always try to give y'all something. So these Thinking Out Louds, they actually became a thing. It's becoming popularized. Whereas people sometimes look for that more than they look for the actual podcast, which is also, I'm cool with all of it. Like, it's all the same content at the end of the day. So shout out to y'all, man. Of course, like I can't do this without y'all. And I always try to say thank you to y'all first before I start anything, because I feel like without the support and without the push from whether it's people I know, people I don't know, strangers, people I know through podcasting, it's like, or just that whatever content I'm putting out that it touches you, it means a lot to me always, and I want to make sure that's clear. But yeah, before I start, I want to start with one thing, man. This is something that I wasn't really gonna say. I only told maybe 1 or 2 people this, but you never know who's watching you, right? And I always say that. But the more and more I do these Thinking Out Louds, I put these content out and I share it, and I just push my brand and push my content. I find out more and more you really don't never know who's watching you, honestly, right? And someone that probably don't even know, but like, I don't know what I mean to this particular person. Like, I'm not trying to get sentimental here, because it's just a man, right? But a young man, but it's a man. And I feel like he said something to me the other day about something that I did on my Thinking Out Loud, and you really never know how something you're saying, you're going through, you expressing your feelings, how it's going to touch somebody else, and either it can alter the way they feel about a situation, because how they feel about you or how they look at you, now they know that them feelings are normal, or they ready to overcome those feelings, because they're like, if he can do it, I can do it, type of thing, And I don't know if that was the case here, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. So I did a Thinking Out Loud the other day, and I talked about failures, and how I switched departments in my job one time, and I working outside, and I feel like I failed the first year, and I didn't feel it at the time, but y'all watched this episode, so I felt like that. And like I said, I was talking about it and doing it in relation to me only, to Jermaine. You know what I'm saying? Bobby to some of y'all. And I saw him at work, and he was like, "Yo, this is just random. Like, we ain't talking about nothing. It's just random day." He just like, "Yo, you got me through. You got me through something." And I'm like, "What you talking about?" He's like, "Nah, that Thinking Out Loud you did. I think it was number." He said the number. I don't know the numbers. I just put them out. I don't ever look back at it. It's just me releasing. It's like therapy. And he goes, "Yeah, man, because the other day, such and such came out here, and they said this was wrong, that was wrong." And I just was like, damn, like, I had 2-3 weeks of me just feeling like I was failing. I'm not doing enough. And that, like, I ain't gonna lie, that was one of them situations, or one of them talks where, like, I can talk through stuff, but it was like I had to kind of get away from talking, because you really know, like, I almost felt it when he said it, because I kind of saw it, him going the extra mile. And I always want to feel like I always want people to feel appreciated for what they're doing, especially in work, my style of managing, which I'll get into in a minute. But I want people to feel appreciated. I know I might come up with certain ways in time. I don't know how I am, but I want people to feel appreciated for the most part. And it was dope to hear him say that, because I would never guess that he felt that way, because he was going so hard. But he don't know, but he really was just pushing himself. He might have felt the way, but when you get uncomfortable, you try to find a way to get comfortable again. You try to cover ground, And I think him doing that push for them couple weeks he was doing it for, and even now, I think that's more of a testament to him and his dedication to wanting to be great and wanting to be better. But it felt good to know that something that I expressed about myself, he felt like he was going through, because it's a similar situation. Now mind you, he's younger than me, and probably not have the same situation outside of work, but the fact that he was going through that mentally, and him just feeling like he was failing. I told him, like, you ahead of me. 'Cause I didn't know I felt when I was failing. I didn't know till I started doing good that, damn, you know what, I was failing last year. I was going through failing without knowing I was failing. You know what I'm saying? So for him to feel that way and like see it, it was just dope. And we had another conversation the other day, you know, which I ain't gonna get into all that, but you know, he pretty much told me like, I'm trying, my best. I'm trying to, make you proud. But the reason why I say he means something to me because, a lot of people might not know this, but like my whole even career what I do outside of here, being in management for the last 4 or 5 years, I had never really hired anybody. Like I barely did interviews because I stayed outside. I stayed in the department. So when I became an ASM, or assistant store manager rather, I got to hire someone, and that's the first person I ever hired, which he's a department supervisor. So for me, him doing well is always, I feel like it's just more of a testament to a good choice that I made, but I can't take credit for what he's doing. But I said to say, like, it meant a lot for him to say that, though. I want to just get that out the way. I'm sorry I was long-winded with that, but yeah, for him to tell me that, because I know even as a man, like you don't want to tell nobody, like, this, being that young as he is, like, you don't want to be like, yo, this meant, like, it was hard for me to do that as a man at that age, So for him to, like, just put any kind of pride or anything to the side and just say, like, that just, it made me feel good. And you definitely never know who's watching you. So, like I said, I didn't make that video for anybody but other than myself. These Thinking Out Louds is all for me. I give it as content to y'all because I know y'all like the, y'all like that content what I'm talking about, but it's freestyle, just random talking. It's like a therapy session. Like that camera, this microphone, all this equipment, all this in one is like a therapist to me. Which brings to my next thing. Next week I got an episode with a therapist coming out. I just recorded it. That's why I'm on this side of the studio now. Normally I'd be on that side, but she was sitting on that side. It was set up for her, so I wanted to do my Thinking Out Loud before I went home. So I'm on this side, right? But other than that, I want to get into something else. And a lot of times, we feel away, we feel stressed out. I've been thinking about these quotes last couple of days, or last week or some change, maybe, or maybe months, who knows. But I know I've been feeling a lot of pressure on myself for a lot of reasons. One, because I feel like there are people watching you, and you never want to quit, crumble, or fold, because I don't want other people to do the same. So a lot of times what keeps me going forward is, knowing that there's people out there watching me, rooting for me to win. And that sometimes that's the will you need to keep pushing, keep going. Some days you feel like it ain't worth it, some days you feel like it is, With that being said, it's a few quotes I've thought about, and one of them is heavy is the head that wears the crown, of course. And another one is with great reward, I don't know what I'm saying. With great something comes great responsibility, right? And I think that's what I'm going through like now in this phase that I'm in because of how I feel. I feel like I'm in a position, and normally you get like a test trial, a training trial. You get something where like you're not walking into something full throttle as this kind of head honcho. You kind of walk your way into it. I feel like I came into a position where I came into a position as a leader, as a top leader, and I don't know if I was actually prepared for that mentally to do that. Not saying I can't do it, and it's not attainable, but that was never the thought process of me doing this, right? But one thing I say is this, right? A lot of times if you're gonna make the big money, there's gonna be big demands on you. If you're gonna be the top earner, it's gonna be a lot of demands on you. They got the saying, more money, more problems. This is in that same realm, where it's like, sometimes, the problems you're going through, sometimes the stress that you're going through, it matches the pay that you're getting, it matches the rewards that you're getting. And of course, I have my days where I think, okay, I'm calculating like, it might not be worth it that day, or I don't need the XYZ this day. But then, you got people that's looking up to you, Part of some of the things that kind of get me down sometimes is my daughter, my youngest daughter, she asks me this question all the time. Yesterday, it felt good to say no, but she asked me, she said, hey, Dad, you got work in the morning? I'm like, nah. And she just smiled, gave me a hug, like, yes, it's like, it's cool to see that joy and to see your kid, happy that you'll be there with them tomorrow, But there's always the flip side of it when I know it's gonna be within a couple hours. She's gonna ask me again. I'm gonna say yeah, and she ain't gonna jump and down. She ain't gonna be smiling. She just like, okay, what I'm gonna do tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So that's just part of it. It's like it's a lot of exterior things that go along with this stuff. So I think I'm in a position where I'm obviously in a place I think where I necessarily don't want to be, but I know that some things you have to look at as a stepping to get to where you gotta go. So sometimes you gotta take certain routes that you might not want to take, not because they're bad routes, not because you can't go that route, just because you didn't want to go that route and you want to be here. But I think it's a testament to me being comfortable and uncomfortable. And I think that this is all this particular time of the year, this particular location, this particular people I'm dealing with, they are different than what I'm used to dealing with on all levels I just mentioned. Like literally, the people I'm dealing with are different than the people I'm used to dealing with. The location I'm at is different than the location I'm used to being at. You know what I'm saying? What I'm doing to get ready for whatever I gotta get ready for is different than what I used to do to get ready for this time. So sometimes I talk myself into saying like, nah, it just just pace through. But it's like you can get drained by being that source of energy, that source of happiness, that source of getting somebody out. Like I feel like I'm filling up so many cups of water, that you start to lose yours. Like, damn, who gonna fill mine? Like you filling this person's cup, you filling this person's cup, you filling this person's cup, and it's like, all right, well, I need mine filled at some point. But I'm the type of person that I block a lot out. So if somebody was to try to fill my cup or do something for me, it probably wouldn't even happen, because the type of person I am, I probably would block that out subconsciously, not even just doing it on purpose, just because of my nature of how I am. But it's a few things that kind of gets me upset, or just makes me think. And something was said yesterday, and I know I can't say for sure. I know that it wasn't meant in a bad fashion, but it just speaks to the place I'm in and the people I'm dealing with right now. And it's politics and anything, so I can navigate through politics. It's never been a problem for me in my whole life. But something was said along the lines of, I asked a group of people who was the most liked in my position or whatever, right? And apparently my name, I was the one that said was most liked. And then the comment came, you must be too nice. And I know it wasn't, I don't know whether it was a negative thing or just a jab, but I took it a certain way, because I feel like if somebody was saying that I'm the nicest, you never know what nicest means to somebody. Nicest can mean who's the most knowledgeable, who can you go to if you need a problem, who can you, depend on to get this problem solved for you. To some people, that's nice, or who's the most liked. Some people that would make them like you a lot, because if I come to you with a problem, it'll get handled, right? And in management, I would assume that that's your sole purpose of being there, to handle problems, right? So when it was said and it was asked that question, now, of course, I didn't take offense right then and there, but it made me think like, damn, like, well, what style of management do people want? Do you want me management? Like, do you want me to be, getting, calls, HR calls, all this type of stuff? Like, it just was one of them things I started thinking, like, what does that mean? Like, the fact that, you're most liked don't always, it's not always a negative. It shouldn't always be a negative connotation with that. I think you should take that in stride, especially this time of the year, especially with this climate we in, with COVID, people not even wanting to work, the stress levels of this time of the year, the stress levels of just retail in general. So that kind of, I'm like, okay, that's odd. But, it adds to that feeling of you already not wanting to do something. You already feel like you not saying you want to give up, but you want to step back. You want to like, I don't want to do this no more. Or you want to move to somewhere else. Like, and I've never been a person to run from a challenge, run from a difficult situation. I always rise above it. And I feel like your time is your time. So if it's time for me to go somewhere else, I'll go somewhere else. But like I said, all this is new to me, and there's some things I like and dislike about this situation I'm in. But me being the professional I am, me being the person I am, I'll cope with those things because I'm strong enough to do so. I just know I don't have to be strong enough to do so. I know I don't have to do a lot of things I'm doing. And where I'm at, where I'm at with things like, damn, you driving X amount of time to get to a certain place every day. You doing X amount of things to keep a certain standard up. And it's like I'm not saying I want to just be told, oh, you're great every day. I don't care about that. But I don't want to be, belittled, or not that I am. Nobody ever belittled me. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying words. But you don't want to, but other people, my peers might have, I'll say this, I'm going to end with this. Like, I'll say this. You never really realize how important you are. Have a day off. Have a day off from work. Have a day off from work, and I feel like you'll see just how important you are. Today was one of them days where I had a day off from work, and I felt so overwhelmed, and I felt, luckily my kids was very patient with me, but I felt like every time I turned around, I was dealing with an issue, whether it was work or something personal, or maybe a friend of mine, somebody I know, somebody I'm close with, calling about something. But it's like, I wanted to use this day really just to devote it all to my daughters. Like, I wanted just to lay with them all day, just watch a movie with them all day, just sit down with them all day. I knew I was going to record, so I was trying to do that up until the time I had to record till. That was really my intentions, right? And throughout the day, like, just waking up to a phone call, or having somebody from work, or whether it's a peer or somebody over me, call me about this, that, and third. Are you at work? Because I ain't at work. Okay, cool. Talk for 10 minutes still. Or having my peer call me the event, because we can do that because we peers, and talk to 30, 35, 40, 45 minutes about certain things, make sure they level headed before they go into work. Once again, I'm pouring in somebody's cup. Then to having another person call and we talk about this. Then to having another person to call about X, Y, Z. And then to having, it's like continuous. It's like, damn, that's thing it's 3 o'clock. You're like, damn, I've been on the phone all damn day. Like, it's like, but like I said, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Like, when you really important, or you doing the right things, or you just a prominent entity, person, figure, statue, whatever. That's what happens. You gotta take the good with the bad. You gotta take these days with the regular days. Like, there's no regular days for somebody who is that important. And with that level of importance comes a lot of reward. So me being able to spend X, Y, Z, or be able to do this for my kids, do that for our kids, I know that I wouldn't be able to do that without this. It kind of go hand in hand. So me being important, me feeling like, I had to be on standby for this or standby for that. People call me even though I'm not at work, but they need the information on something they can't find nobody else. It's 100 people working in the warehouse. They can't find nobody else. Let me call Jermaine. It's a gift and a curse. Like, you like it when you like it, but it's like sometimes like, damn, let me have one day, just one, where I can unplug and unwind. So yeah, it's definitely one of them things where you look at a situation and you gotta have these sayings, you gotta have these sayings to kind of go with how you feeling, so you don't feel a certain way. And I'm trying to get that quote, 'cause I thought I took a picture of it. Okay, with great power comes great responsibility. That's what it was, great power. So the power that I have, a lot of responsibilities come with that. And one of those responsibilities is, kind of being there when somebody needs you, or, being a listening ear, or you wear so many hats under that management hat to where that's also why you get that extra stipend, that extra little pay that, not little pay, but, extra pay or whatever, with whatever you're getting, because of those situations, because you're doing that due diligence. And I hate doing that, 'cause I think comparison is the thief of joy. I believe in that. But I think sometimes when I compare to other people, other peers in my position, whether they're other stores or whatever, I be feeling like, damn, I know they don't do all this. But it's a part of me that be like, don't think about that. Don't think about it. Just do what you're doing. Be the best you could be. It's gotten you this far, and but then it's another part of me like, you get tired. You're like, damn, do you really have to do this? Could I just go full throttle with the podcast thing? Could I do something else? Could I do something where I'm talking and just like, I love to do this, so is this a sign to say, hey, take a step back from that. It's always going to be there. Why don't you try this and see what you can get from that, because you might love it and it might be something you need to do. So I'm kind of torn there. Like, I'm torn between, like, just just taking hits as they come. I know I can take it. I know it ain't nothing. Like, I'm good. But then at the same time, it's one of them things where I'm looking at like, am I missing something that is being put in front of me at the same time? Because am I ignoring these feelings and how my body feel, how my mental feel? Am I ignoring that because of comfortability? Or am I ignoring that because I not want to be uncomfortable again with doing X, Y, Z? So that's what I'm struggling with right now. But like I said, when you get things like my man's coming to me and telling me, yo, that got me through. I don't know. When I hear about something I've done that got somebody through, it means a lot to me. I was at a event a couple years ago, and somebody stopped me. I ain't know the person like that, but he gave me a five. He was like, yo, what's up, man? I said, what's up? He was like, yo, I love your podcast, man. It got me through my deployment. This man is in another area where they bombing and stuff, and he come and tell me that got him through his deployment. He felt like he was home. It just, so ever since that, like I always felt like anytime somebody told me that something resonated with them, or they felt like something I said or something I did, I'm not trying to sell myself at all. Like, I don't want people to think I'm just talking this big stuff, because it's things I do. I'm not perfect at all. It's things I do that are the very opposite of what I'm talking about. I can do things that's not the greatest. That's not to be quote unquote one to talk about. I'm human, right? But in this particular thing what I'm talking about right now, that's what's been on my mind so much lately. Like, my mind, I ain't even been there sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm so tired that because I know what I'm doing, it comes second nature, but it's draining at the same time. And I feel like, I don't know if it's a sign I need to just take a step back and do something different, or if it's just a sign like, something better is coming for you. Like, you just never know. So kind of playing with that right now. I don't want nobody to say do this, do that. I'm just kind of talking. This is my thinking out loud. You know how I do. But yeah, that's just something that I've been thinking about heavily lately. And it was one more thing I wanted to say, and it kind of just, as me talking, I just kind of rambled off, whatever. But definitely, man, if y'all could continue to support the podcast, man, check it out. I just dropped the podcast last night. The comedian EJ Rogers, which is a dope episode. He's very long-winded, but that's my man. I did a video of him the other day, and I didn't know that even me doing that video of him, he got booked off that video. He told me that last night. I never knew. I did a video a couple weeks ago. I didn't put it on YouTube. I put it on only my Morning Master page on Facebook. It's about 5 minutes just telling the city to support him and book him and do this, that, and third. And lo and behold, he told me yesterday he got booked. I never knew. So go support him and go support his page. The podcast was dope. I'm putting out snippets on the Facebook page and on Instagram, of course, and social media and stuff like that. But the full podcast, I put it out because I know I haven't been putting out full-length podcasts. So I put that out in full on a Wednesday for y'all, just as a treat to the listeners and the audience. So hopefully y'all like that, enjoy that. I thought he had a dope story. Funny guy, very, very funny. But I thought he had a dope story. And then I just did a therapist, Miss Natalie Bryan, an actual therapist as well, black woman, was amazing. We had our podcast, it was dope. So yeah, man, One Master Podcast be out.